Story 1. If she never takes responsibility for anything and always blames others, run. That is a huge red flag. Story 2. A lot of things, to be honest. Emotional immaturity, making fun of people they have hurt, mocking others behind their backs, silent treatment, and so on. Story 3. My favorite is when someone dislikes another person and tries to make an executive decision that no one else in the group agrees with. My friend's girlfriend tried that. I firmly said, "No, you are not making that decision. If you don't like them, that's fine, but I am not going to stop talking to them because of you." She does not talk to me much anymore. Oh well. Story 4. If she wants you to rescue her, ask yourself why she stayed in that position before you arrived. Story 5. If she is a bad dog owner, in my experience, that usually means she wants unconditional love without putting in much effort herself. Story 6. Keeping many just friends around who are clearly waiting for an opportunity. If she does this, she has an attention-seeking personality flaw. No one person can ever satisfy her need for attention and affirmation because of it. Story 7. When she is a woman but shows all the traits we label as toxic masculinity: aggressive, controlling, emotionally unavailable, ego-driven, and always needing to dominate. It is just as toxic coming from anyone. Story 8. Constantly posting pictures online to seek approval from strangers makes the present moment unbearable. Story 9. Watch how they speak to their parents and listen to how her family speaks to her. My ex-girlfriend spoke to her family disrespectfully. Her dad, after a drink, straight up asked me why I was with his daughter when I could do so much better. I am not a prize catch. I took the initiative to leave after 3 years and am very happy about that. Story 10. For me personally, just being constantly cynical is exhausting. I recently went out with someone who had nothing but negative things to say about everything. If it wasn't the city, it was the weather, the people, or whatever pop culture topic came up in conversation. Just say something nice, for the love of God. She was an absolute positivity vampire, and I could feel my energy draining the longer I was around her. Story 11. Bossiness, the silent treatment, mocking others, being proud of burning bridges, and loud, embarrassing social behavior when told it makes people uncomfortable. Story 12. If you see her posting or using an apocryphal Marilyn Monroe quote about not being able to handle her at her worst and not deserving her at her best, run. The same applies if she describes herself as an empath. Story 13. If the girl ever complains about how people always leave her no matter what, run as far away as you can and do not ever look back. Story 14. If she is bisexual but never stops talking about how much she cannot stand men and would rather be kissing a girl while romantically involved with a man. If she has a cutesy Hello Kitty aesthetic, there is a 50-50 chance her soul harbors an ancient evil. If she is openly critical of your appearance or talks about you like a purse dog. If she laughs at you when you try to express discomfort or set boundaries. I have since realized I am gay. Story 15. If they are threatened by other women, either they lack self-confidence and self-love, or they believe they are superior to them. Either way, it is a bad sign. Run. Story 16. You are the first person to ever treat me right. She loves to speak negatively about her toxic ex-partners. Run, do not walk. She is not over her ex and is definitely using you. She will ruin your life. You will get hurt badly. Trust me, I know. Story 17. Dislikes other women and has only male friends. Not saying she will cheat. I knew one woman like that who I know would never cheat. However, the hatred toward women becomes incredibly annoying. You will not watch a television show with an attractive woman without hearing them say how ugly or inappropriate that woman is. Story 18. She told me that her boyfriend bought her a Chevrolet Corvette, implying that I should do something similar for her. This is a red flag. Story 19. Wish I had spotted a few signs in my ex-wife. Early in the relationship, she once accused me of deliberately walking past her in a shopping center and ignoring her. She told me she had gone to the car, so I would never have thought she was there. She didn't speak to me for a whole day, and when I asked, "Why on earth would I do that?" she said, "Some people do things like that." This was the start of her basically finding reasons to make me feel guilty or blame me for things that hadn't happened. Story 20. diagnosing people she disagrees with using various psychiatric diagnoses, believing everyone is trying to harm her if they make mistakes or forget something. Story 21, Ghosting. I met a girl on Bumble who seemed really nice. We started talking and even met up in person. We had a great time, or so I thought. We met twice in one weekend and even planned to go bowling the following weekend. I texted her throughout the week but barely got any responses. One day, she didn't respond at all. I should have stopped texting her then, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt, thinking she was busy. I asked if we were still on for bowling. She said yes. That day came and she completely ghosted me without any notice that our plans had changed. I texted her twice that day but never heard back. I was frustrated. I was ready to call her out if she had replied, but she never did. People can be busy, but it only takes a few seconds to say you're busy or not interested anymore. Be mature and honest instead of ghosting. I respect honesty much more than being ghosted. After that experience, if someone starts ghosting me, I will cut contact immediately. Ghosting is the worst thing you can do to someone. Story 22. If she has isolated herself from everyone in her life, it may be that she is a bad person and people have chosen to distance themselves from her. This does not only apply to women. Story 23. This is a red flag for both parties, male and female. They are constantly in relationships, and the reason is always the other person's fault. One bad ex. Sure, it happens to everyone. Two bad exes. Okay, life happens. But more than two means the problem is with them, and they refuse to take responsibility and self-reflect. This also applies to anyone who constantly meets bad people or has bad things happen to them. Yes, bad things happen, but if you keep getting yourself into bad situations, it is time to read the Bible or a lot of self-help books. You have poor judgment, which is why you continue to entangle yourself with negative people and situations. Story 24. Crystals and astrology. Also, if you are in trouble because of something you did to her in a dream, run away. Story 25. If she likes rebellious boys. I have seen girls encourage guys to get into fights and develop addictions just to appear tougher in front of their friends. Story 26. She keeps secrets. My first wife started with small things. Then she tried to hide that she spent money. Then she hid the fact that her brother had a child. Then she started hanging out with women I had never heard of or met. Then came the cheating. Story 27. A girl showed up to our third date with a large bruise on her neck. I was foolish enough to still try to make it work. Story 28. If she insists on being in charge in every situation, run. Today, I met someone who opened a friendly brunch by asserting moral superiority. No, no, no. Story 29. I'm a 25-year-old woman. I read some of the comments, and I'm here to help a bit because I don't think I've seen anyone mention the good vibes girl. Dear brothers, that's the one you should keep your distance from. She seems too good to be true, the girl who is friends with everyone but at the same time with no one. She tries to be cute but is unpleasant in reality. She posts live, love, laugh on social media but is a bully in real life. Usually, she is someone who expects everyone, men and women alike, to do things for her just because it's her. That one. Story 30. Emotional stability issues that turn into you being perceived as the bad person even though you did nothing wrong. Manipulation involving self-harm. Story 31. When someone says, I tell it like it is, it often means they believe everyone needs to hear their opinion on everything. Story 32. Trying to create a divide between you and your friends and family. Also, long nails, fake hair and eyelashes, and generally many things that require maintenance. In my opinion, this can mean that a woman may be unwilling to do manual tasks, including cleaning or cooking. Additionally, maintaining all of these artificial items can be costly. Story 33. Talking behind other people's backs and saying nasty things is harmful. You can be certain that you will be one of these people someday. This applies to both men and friends as well. Story 34. If she looks ghostly pale in the middle of the night and electricity starts buzzing around her, and if you notice the window condenses when she is near, then she is probably a ghost. If you see her, run. Story 35. consistently causing arguments with your roommates, sister, dad, and others, and when you try to talk, she creates conflict until she has your attention. She is isolating you so you are alone and entirely hers. My roommate's partner moved in with us because her dad kicked her out. It turns out she is incredibly self-centered and easily deceived due to her lack of awareness, which she thinks is a selling point. After she moved in, we found out she is 5 months pregnant. She is going to a mother and baby unit in 3 weeks because I cannot tolerate comments like, "When I have the baby, I'll be doing less housework," followed by, "You don't do any at all." Story 36. I have always felt that a red flag, not just in girls but also in guys, is when they are only nice to you yet mean to most other people around them. It shows that their kindness is not sincere but something they put on when they want to attract you. Story 37. Radioactivity. If your Geiger counter goes clack clack clack, run. Story 38. You see her lying and deceiving everyone in her life. You are definitely not the one person who can trust her. Story 39. Borderline personality disorder. It is largely considered one of the most challenging common mental illnesses, second only to sociopathy or psychopathy. It is mostly diagnosed in women. Effective therapy requires a significant amount of treatment and many healthcare professionals. Many therapists and psychiatrists refuse to treat people with borderline personality disorder because it is extremely difficult. It is advised not to date individuals with this disorder. Story 40. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. Eleanor Roosevelt. This is a good guide. Story 41. If she needs to pile on the makeup with a trowel, apply eyelashes that fan a room to cool it, and have way too many tattoos, especially if you see a guy's name. In one word, a fake miss. Story 42. When something is clearly her fault but she flat out denies it, and not in a playful way. Story 43. If she takes advice seriously from friends who have never had a relationship or been in a successful relationship, it clearly shows she cannot make her own decisions. Story 44. The whole idea of only having guy friends. Also, for me personally, if a girl gets mad easily or has road rage type behavior, it is a huge red flag. Story 45. A slight variation of Groucho Marx's famous quote, "I would never be part of any group that would have me as a member. I live by, I wouldn't want to be with anyone whose standards are low enough to want to be with me." Story 46. I found out my girlfriend at the time was still dating the guy she told me she had broken up with. She claimed he was out of the house because they had broken up, when in reality he was only out of the house because he worked out of town. That was disappointing. Story 47. Overly jealous when it is uncalled for, especially if she finds it hard to see her own hypocrisy. She is overly friendly to any man she speaks to, obtains phone numbers from coworkers without reason, does not immediately delete other men from her phone, and makes excuses while downplaying their significance in her life. They usually use jealousy as a cover for their own unfaithfulness. Story 48. If she posts on TikTok or social media about her ex-partners and what they did to her, it is concerning. Calling someone out on sexual assault is one thing, but posting trash talk is a red flag. It means she cannot move on, and if you break up, she might publicly shame you. My ex did that and told total lies to try to ruin me. Story 49. When she had many ex-partners and only blamed them for everything or talked about them as if they were the worst people on earth, it made it very clear that she was the problem and did not take responsibility. Also, when her mother subtly warned you about her. Story 50. You remind me a lot of my ex on the first date, especially when she was the one who asked you out. Yawn. Story 51. How about if she flirts with other men when she is already in a serious relationship? That is a red flag. Story 52. Mentions astrology but takes it seriously. I spent exactly 10 seconds talking to a girl who approached me. I told her I am a Libra. She said, "Oh no," and left. Story 53. You lose them the same way you got them. If they will cheat with you, they will cheat on you. Never get involved with someone who is already seriously committed to another person. This applies to both men and women. Personally, my strongest advice is to avoid anyone who has no hobbies or special interests. This usually means their entire life is focused on interpersonal drama and other negative behaviors. They are often very codependent in relationships because they have nothing else to focus on. Story 54. 1. Always having to be right. Whenever she has an opinion, it is 100% the correct one. 2. Not asking questions about others, just focused on herself and whatever she wants to talk about. My 2 latest girlfriends, by the way. Story 55. Just going with the flow. In most cases, this means not using her brain for anything worthwhile and making emotional decisions with no self-control. Story 56. Women tend to grow into their mother. Is her mother a manipulator constantly trying to devalue you behind your back? Get out of that situation before marriage. That woman is likely to destroy her daughter's relationships to satisfy her own issues. Story 57. The big issue I overlooked was that she would always lie and never take responsibility for small things, even when the lies were easily proven. I thought with time and trust things would improve, and they did, but when problems arose again, old habits die hard. Story 58. My ultimate red flag is if their parents are decent and they still do not respect them. It is just a matter of time until it is your turn. Story 59. She cycles through groups of friends every few years. Each new group is her tribe and the people who actually stick with her. She often talks about knowing who the real ones are and who stays with her through the darkness. Story 60. Insecure attachment style due to childhood neglect and trauma. Difficult to recognize at first, but once the signs appear, leave immediately. You will not succeed in overcoming this. Story 61. The same thing that would make you run from anyone else. Ask her for her story. If she lies or hangs around men who are unsuccessful, it is a red flag. If she never has a single story where she was wrong, it probably means she does not spend much time examining her own behavior, and that is not good. Story 62. She has many former friends and family members with whom she was once very close, but now she claims all of them are evil. You are next, trust me. Story 63. I am honestly amazed at how early this conversation started. Talk about driving a wedge. My behavior has been absolutely unhinged, and my initiation was on point. Story 64. Debt, drugs, social media addiction, lack of accountability, a victim mindset, and my newly discovered one. What she calls honesty but is actually just her lack of manners. And yes, if she tells you that you deserve better or that everyone grows tired of her eventually, just believe her and leave. She is just a bundle of misery and drama. Story 65. Do not do drugs. Be as honest as humanly possible. We could have honestly matched each other's interests and found common ground in the relationship. Story 66. I think that if she believes that everyone around her owes her something simply because she is a girl, then men will run away from her. Story 67. Lying, even if it starts small. Once you know someone lied to you once, know they have lied before and will do so again. Story 68. This actually happened to my neighbor. He came home to find a police officer involved with his wife. The police officer's gun belt was within easy reach. He turned and walked out, never to return. It is unfortunate because he had a great child. Not all police officers are bad, but that individual needs help. Story 69. Hearing the word, like, every other couple of words in every sentence and conversation is frustrating. It is the biggest turnoff ever. Story 70. Chronic anger combined with a love of alcohol and firearms. Sores all over her body from methamphetamine use. Chronic bad breath from decaying teeth. Herpes sores below the waist. Does not wash or brush her hair. Does not clean up after her dog. Exhibits a confrontational attitude. Unpleasant body odor. Typical issues. Story 71. There is no single reason. You could write a book of reasons that would make you run, including combinations of any and all reasons. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.